Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How are you? Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, now we will come to today's news. And it looks like the DOJ has decided to open up another investigation and trump another probe, another special counsel. That's right this time. They're definitely going to get Trump if they've been investigating this guy for 6+ years, and they've yet to come up with anything. It's a liberal fantasy. It's these Democrats who continue to push the Justice Department to do something that they are actively looking at some guy they've been under investigation for so long, and they can't find anything, when really the true crimes we are seeing there are happening within the swamp people within the Biden family and himself, the administration and everything else. They would rather try to put Donald J. Trump in jail and actually address the real corruption that is at hand, and that's what's currently happening. So this dude over the DOJ comes out with his low press conference. Mr. I'm so angry because I didn't get made a Supreme Court justice because McConnell blocked me. I'm going to continue to be a petulant child and continue to try to go after Trump every single time because that's all I have. This guy is a complete loser. So let's go and dive in. And I like to dive in first of all with this tweet here from End Wokeness. It says 2017 Kobe will get Trump, 2018 Mueller will get Trump, 2019 Avenatti will get Trump, 2020 Tish James will get Trump, 2021 Garland will get Trump, in 2022 Jack Smith, who is the new special counsel, will get Trump. That's right. That is what you've had going on here. And this is in response to, of course, Mark Garland going after Trump once again, and his BS press conference here as he appoint a special counsel. Everyone listen to this. The special counsel will also conduct the investigation involving classified documents and other presidential records, as well as the possible obstruction of that investigation. Today, I signed an order appointing Jack Smith to serve as special counsel. The order authorizes him to continue the ongoing investigation into both of the matters that I've just described, and to prosecute any federal crimes that may arise from those investigations. Mr. Smith is a veteran career prosecutor. He began his prosecutorial career in 1994 as an assistant district attorney with the New York County D.A.'s office. In 1999, he became an assistant U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, where over the course of 9 years, he prosecuted matters ranging from gang murders of police officers to civil rights violations. From 2008 to 2010, he served with the International Criminal Court, where he supervised war crimes investigations. In 2010, Mr. Smith returned to the Justice Department to serve as chief of the Public Integrity Section, where he led a team of more than 30 prosecutors who handled public corruption and election crimes cases across the United States. In 2015, he agreed to serve as the first assistant U.S. attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, later becoming the acting United States attorney. Most recently, Mr. Smith served as the chief prosecutor for the special court in The Hague charged with investigating and adjudicating war crimes in Kosovo. Mr. Smith will begin his work as special counsel immediately, and will be returning to the United States from The Hague. Throughout his career, Jack Smith has built a reputation as an impartial and determined prosecutor who leads teams with energy and focus to follow the facts wherever they lead. As special counsel, he will exercise independent prosecutorial judgment to decide whether charges should be brought. Although the special counsel will not be subjected to the day-to-day supervision of any official of the department, he must comply with the regulations, procedures, and policies of the department. Okay, folks. Upon receiving the majority in the House of Representatives, do Republicans need to impeach Garland? Needs to happen. That's the first order of business, to impeach Garland and go ahead and take control over this rogue investigation once again, driven by the Democrat Party. For the benefit for them to try to derail President Trump from returning to office. This is all that's said about January 6th stuff, and all of that is all pertaining to this. And this is why they have to do it. They have to ensure they can try to stop him from running for re-election, and see, now they look like this is political, because they announced it after President Trump had announced he was running for president again, staying one step ahead of the DOJ in the rogue Biden regime. And this is some big news. As we now officially leave the season of midterms, I came across a very good article in American Greatness by a scholar by the name of Dr. Paul de Quinoa, president of the Palm Beach Freedom Institute, entitled "Cheer Up Republicans, the Midterms Were Actually a Success. The GOP should disband its circular firing squad, get to work and keep winning." And I thought that he put things into precisely the kind of perspective that we should all have coming out of all of this, at the very least, so that we can all just collectively laugh at the Republican establishment. We're making utter fools of themselves. They have more in common with Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi than they do with us. Is it any wonder they haven't won an election in at least 8 years, and they had the gall to lecture us? But here's Dickens' assessment of why the midterms indeed were a success. First and foremost, we won the House. Okay. There's no way around this, and Election Desk has projected it, by the way. We flipped the House of Representatives, and that cannot in any way, shape or form. Don't let anyone tell you, especially the Murdoch freaks at Fox, who have the penchant of calling 2020 races rather early for Biden, earlier than they called Florida and Texas. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Under Trump's leadership, we won 2016 in a blowout. We gained seats in the Senate in 2018. Trump was only the 5th president in history to see gains in the Senate. During a midterm, we came within a handful of seats of retaking the House in 2020. And now we've done just that, we've retaken the House in 2022. And that's after having to defend a record number of Senate seats. We had to defend 21 seats going into this. Democrats only had to defend 14, we had to defend over 20, and we lost one. And in terms of who won in the House, according to this fellow, Dr. Dickens, while 140 of the confirmed GOP wins in the House, roughly 2/3 of the total seats won, deny the results of the 2020 election. They include 15 newly arriving freshman members, one of whom was Constance. Derek Van Orden was a J6 protester, and he flipped a Democrat seat. In perhaps the most bizarre twist given the reality painted by outlets like Fox News or National Review. It was the validly anti-Trump GOP congressman who most totally got eliminated this year. Of the 10 who voted to impeach Trump, only 2 will still be in office. And they did everything they could in their campaigns to avoid talking about their impeachment vote. Of the 8 others, 4 lost their primaries to Trump-endorsed candidates, and 4 didn't even have the guts to run again. It was the anti-Trump vote that got slaughtered in this election, not the pro-Trump vote. In terms of Kevin McCarthy getting elected, Speaker has been nominated. He's not been elected yet. He is now going to have to grovel to every single ultra-MAGA congressman and beg for their vote. And the only way he's going to get it is if he delivers on what they want, which is oversight committee positions to investigate every aspect of the Biden crime family, the corruption, the FBI, and the whole Fauci debacle. And he'll have no choice but to deliver on that promise. The irony of all this is that the smaller the Republican majority, the more leverage the ultra-MAGA members have over McCarthy. The ongoing investigations into Trump are now officially done in the House. And the days of the kangaroo court J6 committee have come to a decisive and cataclysmic end. Keep in mind, the battle for the Senate is not yet over. McConnell is doing everything it can to try to win favor back with the ultra-MAGA senators by pouring millions of dollars into Herschel Walker's runoff, and if Herschel Walker wins, that's going to put enormous pressure on Joe Manchin of West Virginia to switch parties in order to avoid a massive challenge from a Republican. And keep in mind, depending on what happens to Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, only about 3 of the 7 senators that voted to impeach Trump will still be around. As for the stars of the Democratic Party that night, Beto O'Rourke, Stacey Abrams, they were both decimated. They were destroyed. In fact, the only Democrat start to emerge out of the midterm elections was an embarrassingly incoherent mumbling stroke fit them. But when we turn to the state legislatures, things actually get even better. When it comes to state governments, the star of the midterms was of course Florida. Republicans slaughtered the Democrats throughout the Sunshine State, amassing a supermajority in both the House and the Senate. DeSantis beat Chris by 20 points. In Montana, Republicans won a supermajority. For the first time in Montana's legislative history, they went 70% of the House races and 66% of their Senate races. West Virginia, which voted for a Republican House and Senate for the first time in 80 years, only 8 years ago, now has a solid supermajority in both chambers of the legislature, and Kentucky Republicans won 80% of their House seats. You heard that right. 80%. In North Carolina, the Republicans got a supermajority in their Senate, fell just 1 seat short of a supermajority in their House. But most of all, they flipped their notoriously liberal Supreme Court. We could go on and on. We had similar gains in Iowa, once a solid blue state. Now, what is a Republican supermajority? Same thing in Ohio, Oklahoma. Of course, Texas continues to turn even deeper red. We flipped Supreme Courts, we flipped both school boards across the nation. It was wild disappointing that we didn't win the big races. We were all hoping to win and didn't humiliate the Democrats across the nation like we hope. There is no question that as of today, Republicans are far stronger than we were a week ago. And Democrats are far weaker. And that is exactly how Dr. De Chinwai ends his article. With this exhortation, the GOP indisputably stands stronger now than it did a week ago. It should stop wringing its hands, disband its circular firing squad, get to work and keep winning. And that, my friends, is precisely what we're going to keep doing here on this channel. From here on in. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Give me your thoughts below and hit subscribe.